Hey guys, welcome to a long anticipated Creator Live. I am Dina, co-owner of Amityville Apothecary, and tonight I am so excited to be coming to you guys live with Thomas and Ciolo talking about Seaborn Kipper. So I'm just going to give them a few minutes to pop on, but we are so super duper excited about this live, and I'm really excited to share with you this Seaborn Kipper deck. I have never heard about a Kipper deck before. So of course, my history nerd self had to do a little bit of digging to learn about it. I'm trying to make sense of this all. And I'm going to see sort of as everybody's popping on to just make sure I see them when they come on. To pop on the live. Just give them a few minutes. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's, can you guys believe that we are already almost at the end of February? February's almost over. We're almost in March. We're almost closing out the first quarter of 2024. And I actually feel like we just said Happy New Year, and it was just Christmas. And we're almost closing 2 months out now. Wild, absolutely crazy wild that here we are already. Okay, so I see Thomas, so I'm gonna pull you in. Give me a minute. One. See, I know it was totally Christmas yesterday. It's absolutely wild that it's we're here we are. Hi,
Hello there.
how are
Good.
you?
Good. How are you? It's nice to meet
Good.
you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Dina. I'm corner of the apothecary.
Nice. I'm Thomas, as you
Hi.
said.
How are you? So is
Good.
Ciolo going to be joining us as well?
Yeah, she should be. So I don't know if you've been following her on her stories.
Okay.
Hey there, Clementine. She is traveling through various places and she's headed into Death
Wonderful.
Valley tonight.
Ooh, okay.
So she may have some
Sure.
yeah, she may have some connectivity issues.
Okay.
She said if her place didn't have Wi-Fi, she was gonna head to a shop that did
No
or
worries.
something.
So
So
we'll
hopefully
we'll
she'll be
give
here
her
soon.
that's all cool. We'll give her some time to sort of make her way over. In the meantime, we'll get started. I was actually just on your website.
Oh, great.
So I had to do some research because you got me and you got me good. When we got this deck in the mail, I was like, have we Danielle and I have had this shop for over 5 years. We have quite a huge library of different metaphysical titles and decks. And by the way, I just need to you might not have ever heard me speak, but I have a very thick Long Island accent. So when I say deck, it sounds like I'm saying dick, and I promise you I am not. It's just my accent.
It's all right. I gave a reading for someone and it involved the Princess of Discs from the Thoth
Yes.
Tarot, and she heard, yeah, something else.
She heard something else. So just as a break the ice, my Thoth birth card is Queen of Swords.
Oh, nice.
There you go. Love that deck. Cannot read it for people, but I do love it. Anyway, you got me on the Kipper deck. Never heard of it before.
Yeah, it is not that
Ever.
familiar to people.
So we got it in. I opened it and I was like, it's sort of like a Lenormand,
Yeah, a little
right?
Normandy.
Right? But then I had to start Googling. So
Okay.
before we start Googling and talking about what a Kipper deck is, because you've sold me, I'm going to try this. I've
Excellent.
been voraciously reading. You have beautiful writing style.
Thank you.
Give us a little bit of background on you. I know you offer tarot courses, readings. Give us the all the things.
Yeah, so I started reading tarot now more than 25 years ago at this point
Oh
when I
boy.
was just in entering high school, getting my sister's bedroom when she went off to college, and I got her bookshelf, which included a tarot deck that she did not take with her. She didn't really use it. I knew what it was because I grew up in Massachusetts,
Okay.
Western Massachusetts, so mysticism was a
Hmm.
thing in the 90s, right? We had lots of bookshops with that kind of stuff with lots of Llewellyn products.
Yeah.
That's how I found my way there, and I just fell in love with Pamela Coleman Smith's illustrations, the
Hmm.
iconic imagery. I was very into wanting to be able to do sort of more intuitive, psychic kind of things, but like I didn't have psychic dreams like my mom and my sister. I couldn't read coffee grounds like my
Oh,
mom. And so, like, tarot for me was the thing that made
okay.
sense. And I was really bad at it for like 18 years. Truly, like,
I love
not
that.
good.
I love it.
And so, after I sort of like had a breakthrough, learning from a bunch of other different people, figuring out my own way, I started offering courses to help people like figure out all of the different layers. I'm a very
Hmm.
analytical person. I don't know if that comes
Hmm.
through in the guidebook at all. Um, but I like to understand systems and to layer meaning in order to find your own sort of like unique way of working with divination,
Hmm.
whether that's Kipper or tarot, oracle, whatever else. And so, yeah, I then eventually got into Lenormand, and then I was curious about other systems like Sibylla and then Kipper. Someone recommended to me, and I just thought it was really cool. Ciolo and I bandied about some different ideas. I've been a huge fan of her work. You
Hmm.
have a couple of her other decks beside you. She's an amazing artist and a wonderful guidebook writer. If
Yes.
anyone has her decks but has not bothered to read the guidebooks, they're amazing. Um, and yeah, we agreed a small deck, like a Kipper. It's 36 cards. We added two more for a little bit of diversity in the main character
Hmm.
cards. Um, and yeah, it's like Lenormand in that it's very
Yeah.
direct. It is used more for fortune telling style readings. It's all traditionally future directed. There's not a lot of past introspection. And it's just like so easy to work with. I think a lot of people just love it the first time they try it. It just
Yeah.
like they do the 5 card cross and they're like, oh, this makes perfect sense. Like it is exactly what I'm going through right now. I know where things are going.
So would you agree that for a Kipper reading, being that it's more divination focused, that you would need like a specific quarry? Because I'm a
Yes.
terrible quarrier.
Okay. So you don't necessarily need like a specific question, but you do need an area of concern. So one of the things that's so fun about Kipper is that there are different characters involved, right? So there's
Hmm.
you, and then there is your counterpart, the two principal cards, one
Right.
and two. And so you need to know who that counterpart is. Like if it's a love reading, it's your partner or it's your partner to be or someone out there. But if it's a work reading, right, it could
Hmm.
be your work wife or husband, right? That's going to be
Right.
a very different person. If it's, small business oriented, it may be your sort of ideal client, that kind of thing. So having those
Right.
sorts
So
of distinction.
so I think the mistake that I made the first time that I opened this deck is being, know, I don't even know. I don't, I'm not going to blame it on my astrological sign because I feel like a Cap rising would read the directions, but I didn't.
Oh, you
I feel
think?
like I should have.
I feel
I
like
don't know.
you'll just charge forward. It's cardinal.
Yeah, well, I didn't read the directions. I was just like, oh, cards, I know these.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm lost. And then I went back and I was like, okay. So now I see you added two more principal cards than normally the deck would have.
Yep.
And then you would need to sort of like assign yourself who you are
Yep.
and then who the other would be,
Yep.
like you said. And the love reading would be your intended or your current, and in the work, whatever. But you have to assign yourself. You can't just like not, because then
Yeah.
because let's face it though, if you don't assign yourself to one of these principles, you're just going to make yourself into the better part.
Yeah. Uh, I
We know how it
yeah,
works.
yeah, yeah. Just an update from Ciolo. She texted me. She said that she is looking for a signal, so she will.
Perfect.
She's aware. She's going to come join us.
Perfect.
Um, yeah, the great thing about Kipper that is so different from even Lenormand, which also has significators, is there are other characters. So there
Hmm.
is the playful one, the ambitious one, the caring one, and the wise one, and those are
Yeah, I have
new.
him.
Yeah, those are new gender neutral titles for what were very
Yes.
gendered cards. They still, present.
Hmm.
in fairly binary terms, although a little bit
Right.
queered up because that's Ciolo and me.
Right.
But um, they're facing a particular direction, and where they're facing shows sort of where they're headed. And so you get to
Yeah.
see this interplay of like, where am I going? Where are they
So like
going? Do we meet?
you see how they're facing.
Exactly.
I love, so I really absolutely adore the ideas of the directionality. And that's actually a reading style in traditional tarot that I was even just recently um introduced to. It's so funny, like you said, you've been reading for 25 years. I think my first tarot deck I got in 1995 when I was in college, and it was, and then my mom bought me the Vertigo tarot deck illustrated by
Oh,
Dave McKeon and
that is a
written by
wild
Rachel
deck.
Pollack. Hmm. Impossible to
Yeah.
read. Like I still have my notes from the 90s and they're like so hard to read, but I was like a Sandman comic gal
Yeah.
and I just like had to have it. I was like such a Dave McKeon fan at the time, more goth than this blonde hair lets on. And I remember like doing the Celtic Cross, and more recently, I never read that by the way anymore, but more recently, um my friend Michelle had this oh, like I really look at the directionality of the cards when I'm laying them out to like give it a little bit more meaning. And I really love the idea of the directionality in the Kipper.
Yeah. It's something that is really fun to bring into other systems. Like if you're a tarot reader, the courts are facing different directions.
Yeah.
A lot of us read thinking like, okay, where's the Queen of Swords to your thought significator? Where is she looking? Right?
Yeah.
Like what is she about to judge in front of her? And that's really like that bringing in that level of intentionality can be really helpful. There was a question from someone who wanted to know about the
Yeah.
sort of gender binary neutrality thing. So traditionally, this is a 18th or early 19th century deck. I think Ciolo and I have looked up different facts about it.
Yeah.
But it is set in this sort of romantic Victorian era, right, where there are very strict gender rules. And you'll see some other Kipper decks that use a lot of that same imagery, like vintage Victorian sort of Photoshop kind of thing. And we wanted to provide a very different take. And there's not really a good reason that like the nurturing figure has to be a woman or
Right.
the wise figure has to be a man. Um, right? Like you can have someone who is an advisor, who is a counselor, who has a lot of life experience, but who isn't really super nurturing, who's a woman. And so we didn't want people to be sort of turned off by the titles of like good lord and good lady or rich
Right.
gentleman and rich girl,
Right.
because honestly, those aren't very helpful titles, right? So, but
Right.
understanding like, oh, this is someone who's playful, this is someone who's ambitious, this is someone who's wise, this is someone who's caring, really opens it up, even though you can still read them in traditional gender terms, because for most people, that's how these people will show up in their lives. So
Right.
it's right,
I,
like
I
freedom to do it what makes sense for you
right.
as a
I think
reader.
it opens up more possibility, like you said, because how often does, say, for example, a court card come up in a reading and you're trying to say, like, okay, is this a particular person? And you're hung up on, like, I don't know if I know
Yeah,
someone that is a woman or identifies as being a woman, whatever it is, who's like
yeah,
this. So to pull back and just say, we're looking at the aspects of a person regardless of how they present, I think is so important, because really how often in our relationships when we're describing our loved ones or those people that maybe are antagonists or whatever it is, do we first say what their gender is? We'll just say
right,
this person's crass and says whatever they want to say and they don't make me feel good. I
right.
don't think we're just like,
It's sort of like
right, I don't
the
know, maybe
gender
that's
may be secondary um,
right.
for them.
So very interesting. And I think so important that all of us can see ourselves in a divination system without having to always imagine.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why there are four principal cards instead of just two. So they do have a little bit of gender ambiguity to them, but the idea was to offer, because they are directional, there's sort of a link between principle one, uh, the wise one, and the ambitious one,
Mm.
where the wise one is sort of your future and the ambitious one is maybe your past, like when you had a little bit more energy and drive competition, versus
Right.
principle two, who maybe in the past was more playful and is now moving into a space of more caring, so that you can say like, okay, this is how I'm feeling. I want to read right to left. I'm going to pick principle two. I'm going to read left to right. I'm going to read principle one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. I actually really like that explanation and the opportunity to think about your current situation and what's like a better fit for you at this particular point in time, or the person that you're reading for,
Right.
because it could be for somebody else.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
have them become more involved in their reading by giving them the option as well.
Yeah.
So when did you first learn about Kipper as a, as a divination system?
Yeah. Only a few years ago. It was shortly, I think it was a year before Ciolo and I first started talking about doing the deck.
Mhm.
And then we both sort of fell into it. As she will explain, she has again said like she's searching. um,
Okay.
she was in Mexico at the time, surfing. She is a
Cool.
triple
Oh my
Sagittarius, as you will discover when
goodness.
she comes live. Uh, and so she loves to travel and explore and just try all sorts of things. And so she was in like coastal, I think it was Pacific side of Mexico, and these little towns were so colorful and vibrant, and the
Mhm.
waves were just like, that was just her life. And so like the mer people were just coming out of her. And she was
Oh,
like, oh, this needs to be. I mean, we had a sort of joke about Kipper is a type of fish.
yeah.
And so like let's do an aquatic themed deck. But she was in a place where like that just made so much sense, and it's so vibrant. I don't know if you've compared it to some of her other
Hmm.
art, but most of her work is very cool. It's blue, green, like Pacific Northwest tones, and this is
Hmm.
an explosion of color in the best way.
Yes.
Like pinks, reds, orange, yellows, like stuff that you won't see in her other decks.
That
That
is
it was
true.
just so fun, and we hope that that playfulness carries through.
It's very playful, and it's interesting that you say that she was in Mexico, because you really see that color palette come through. I was in a small fishing village in Mexico in the early 2000s called Zihuatanejo, which is where they go at the end of the Shawshank Redemption, like the fishing.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever saw that
Oh
movie,
yeah,
the
yeah,
fishing
yeah, yeah,
village. We're going to Zihuatanejo. Anyway,
yeah,
I went there, and the art is all so
yeah.
very colorful and
And
just,
that's
yeah.
Pacific side too, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. In
It's
looking through, do you have a favorite card? I'm just curious.
there was, hold on.
Or
I
have you had
did
one show up for you a couple times?
I I really love the marriage card.
Oh, nice.
I just I guess I'm a Libra sun, so like the idea of, I'm a people. I'm not the girl that goes to the movies by herself. Like that's, I always need to have somebody. So but I love the way like the seaweed and the kelp is just like binding these hands together in this like beautiful, like almost like a hand
Yeah,
fasting. It's just so beautiful. Um, and like the way, like even like the hands is coming around and over. I really, really love. I know that's like such a good dorky card to say that. Like I just, when I was shuffling through, I was like, I really
yeah,
love it. It's like beautiful, beautiful imagery.
yeah.
Maybe I'm getting soft in my old age.
No, it's all right. Yeah, the hand fasting was an intentional reference. One of the really great things about this deck is that it was a true collaboration. I mean, obviously, I did all of the writing, Ciolo did all of the
Hold on,
art.
I see Ciolo. I'm
Oh,
gonna
yes.
grab her. Hold on. Let's see. I'm so excited we could do this because we didn't know we could do more than one person.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like a very fun Brady Bunch moment. Yay!
Yay.
You did it.
I did it.
I mean, look at where you are. That's all I have to say.
I'm in Death Valley, man.
We all have like amazing jealousy.
Well, don't be too jealous because I got stuck in quicksand earlier. Quicksand is actually a real thing.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me what was that like? Because I think all of us are probably from the
It is,
generation where
yeah,
like
right.
that
Because
was
it's
on
one of those
TV all the
things.
time.
It's one of those things you worry about as a kid and you don't know. But like when it flash floods and the sand gets really saturated with water, like it like sucked. So I wear these big giant boots, right? It, like sucked my fucking boot. Oh, sorry, I'm swearing already.
I'm a cusser. It's okay.
Hi, babe. Sorry, I'll try to keep.
Don't worry about it.
I didn't get the rules of discourse yet.
It's fine.
Yeah, so I drove like 80 miles an hour to get over here, and I just crossed into Nevada. So I'm sitting next to a to Death Valley Road in across the border of Nevada. Hi
Hi.
everyone. Let's talk about Seaborn Kipper.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad you're in the most non-aquatic place I think that exists in America at this point. But you
Truly.
managed to get stuck in quicksand due to flash floods. So
It
that's
has literally been like I've been doing this desert thing for the last month, and it has literally been raining nonstop. I have gotten like every single flood. Oh my god, you guys, look at this place. It's ridiculous.
wow. I mean, look at behind you. This I think that the setting sun is gorgeous.
It's ridiculous. It's just yeah, I can see how people like if I didn't have a big project to do, I think I'd probably just get lost in the Mojave Desert for the next like years of my life. Sorry about
Spoken
the traffic noise.
like as Thomas said, like a true triple Sagittarius.
Oh my god, absolutely. Yeah, I am. Yeah, sorry about the traffic noise. It's like literally the only place I could get a cell service
That's okay.
situation.
No,
It's
it's great. We get to live vicariously.
seriously.
A little bit.
Sitting in my closet right now, so
Yeah, you probably
perfect.
have much better audio.
Just slightly. So we were talking about Thomas had asked me what my favorite card was that from the deck, and then we'll throw it back to you. And I just wanted to let you know I very dorkily said the marriage card because I loved
Yeah, I
the
love that
hand
one too.
the
Yeah,
hand
I love that.
fasting and the intentionality of the way that first of all I want to tell you something. As an illustrator, I don't know if you feel that hands are so difficult, but when you see bad hands, especially in tattoos, you're like, oh no, bad
Right?
hands. Hands are
Yeah.
hard.
Hands are super hard. And then like faces, like if like especially if you're doing a likeness of someone, like faces can be so difficult because it's such minute detail can really change things. I can draw pretty much anything except cats.
You
I
could
don't
draw
know why.
hands and faces, but cats.
Yeah, and then because I work so much in like esoteric publishing, all which
Mhm.
just fucking love cats, man. I have to draw so many
We have a lot of cat fans, so I find it funny that you find cats difficult and like yet you did this
I
beautiful
love cats. It's just I can't do
beautiful.
it. Like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I can do that's. I think that's probably my favorite card too. And what I like about that is that like Kipper is a system that I think because it was a parlor game and people sort of in that era, and because it's sort of this like really bougie thing, they're so concerned with marriage and like pairing people off. So you have that one. Thomas, what are the other two cards that are like super marriage centric? It's
Uh,
Success in Love is one of
Success
them.
and love, and
And
then
then Meeting is another one that has kind of a courtship
yeah,
sort of feeling
meeting
to it. So we did
is
this through Mermaid.
Yeah.
yeah.
The
I
meeting
Yeah,
is
I'm
love
good,
beautiful.
thank
meeting.
you. Yeah, yeah, that's my Jeep. Yeah, thanks. I'm good, thanks.
This is
I look like
Danielle,
I
my
should be
business
rescued.
partner. So Danielle, my business partner, just came on, and I don't know how
Nice.
many people that are watching the live are going to remember the time. So Danielle and I were just at the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show.
Not
That
far
is
Right?
epic.
from
Yeah,
me.
Oh
we
my
were
god, how
just
was
there.
it? Was it so cool? It
It
must
was
have been so cool.
amazing, and
I've never gone. Yeah.
it was such an amazing fun time. But the year before, so not this past
Hi,
couple of weeks, but
Danielle. Yeah.
2023, I
Hmm.
accidentally drove our Tahoe off the side of a road
Yeah.
because there was some flooding and quicksand the entire Tahoe. And then we came live on Instagram and showed all of our people hysterically laughing in the car while every good looking Tucson man kept asking if we needed to be like pulled out. And eventually,
Yeah.
and like, again, like my like native New Yorker self was like, no, fuck that. Like, we don't need your
Yeah.
help. We're waiting for
I'm gonna
AAA.
do it myself. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we eventually asked for the help, and a very attractive collection of men pulled us out of the.
Yeah, this is the thing too. It's like in the desert, I think the ratio of men to women is a little off. So it's like
I think,
if I
like,
was in a whore phase and didn't have a delightful boyfriend to go home to, like I'd be banking it over
yeah,
here. I
Bella
think I
said they
might
didn't
just
give us
go
a
over here.
choice.
I
I
feel
know
like
what
if I step even a little bit further off of the so like if I step right here, I start to sink.
yeah, don't do that because I don't know if we could save you from here
No,
Now
no.
some handsome man will pull me out of the
Yeah.
quicksand.
with a rope and a pickup truck. It's all we need.
Yeah. Anyway, so the hand fasting thing, that's one of my favorite cards too, because it really is like it gets it a little bit away from that kind of romantic bougie thing, and it really talks about um sort of different kinds of unions and the
Yeah.
intentionality of it, and then like the strength of a bond that you have with someone that you've really decided to intentionally engage with in that way. So yeah, I like that card a lot.
What were your thoughts about Kipper before you even knew it as a system, or have you always sort of been aware of it too? Because this is, as I said to Thomas before you popped on, I was like, you guys made me do so much homework. I like had no idea what this
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, I knew a little bit about it because I'm pretty into Lenormand.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a Lenormand deck that I self-published it in English, and then it found a publisher in France, but it's never been mass published in English. But when I was researching Lenormand, I kind of came across Kipper. So they're not contemporary. Like Lenormand is French, and Kipper is from a German is German.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't aware of it, but yeah, once I started researching it, I was like, there isn't a deck that really speaks to me because a lot of them tend to be very Victorian in
Mm-hmm.
nature, and then really focus a lot on like cisgendered hetero relationships. And if anyone that's watching has any of my other decks, you'll see that like any of the cards that sort of speak to romance, I can't just do like a man and a woman like making it. I just can't do it. It's always got to be like two goldfish, an aardvark and a pangolian. just like that like really sort of yeah, that stated kind of man and a woman in a relationship having babies and a dog, and like I can't, it's just it doesn't speak to me at all. And so Kipper kind of put me off a little bit because it seemed very focused on
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. But then when Thomas and I started talking about it, and we had this funny idea because Kipper's a fish too, he's a pickled fish. And then the word fish in like drag culture is like a like really fabulous girly drag queen. And then like Thomas and I started talking about it, like yeah, let's do a freaking gay mermaid dick cult. Yeah.
It's really just so beautifully done. And so you were in Mexico and you took a lot
I
of
was in
your.
Mexico at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Mexico with two of my best friends who are just like super adventurers as well, and we were having just a good old time. And I had recently split up with my partner who I'd been with for 14
Oh,
years,
yikes.
and it was like, yeah, I know, right? It was like the first time I'd been single in forever, and my kid was like off in college already, so I was just hoeing it up, man. like, I was like learning to surf at the time, and I was like in great shape. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, this is really good. But I was just learning to kind of re-embrace that energy, like the fun and whatnot. And I tend to be kind of chromophobic. Like my work tends to be always on white backgrounds and fairly sparse and whatnot. Mexico's not having that shit, man.
No,
They're like,
not at all.
not at all, man. And they're like, okay, you can wear a black and white outfit as long as you put these mangoes on your face.
I love it. Yeah, the color, when, Thomas was saying that the color really comes through, like the color of Mexico really comes through in,
Yeah.
your choices.
And also just kind of for me, it was a time in my life when yeah, really I was really struggling for a bit there. Like I got pretty off track because I could just kind of felt like I lost my center for a minute, and then I was partying, I was doing way too many drugs. Like just I don't know, I am not a depressive person, like I am just super happy by nature, but I just was really really having a hard time. And yeah, just like being in the ocean and embracing that energy and the fluidity of that, and then also just opening myself aesthetically and artistically to color and to like celebration and to fun and playfulness and joy, you know. I was like, yeah, this into gayness. And then like because I tend to be this is gonna surprise you guys, but I tend not to be a person who's like super organized all the time. And like,
Really?
Which I will say, for Ciolo's benefit, for those who think like, oh, artists sort of like traveling the world, Ciolo is incredibly productive and task focused. Like when you're
I
at
do
your
get shit done.
desk, you knock it out. You do
Yeah.
amazing stuff. So it's like you have the sort of best of like the play hard, work hard combo.
Yeah, like when I'm on it, but like when we did this deck, I was not in the best place. I was definitely not as yeah, I was not super on task. But it was funny because I didn't know if I had the energy to do another deck, because it takes a lot out of you. It's an intensive process, man. Like tarot deck is 78 cards plus I write the guidebooks, and I wanted to do this, and I knew that artistically I needed something to kind of like recenter myself. Um, and Thomas and I had this lovely kind of exchange online and stuff, and I was like, I need help. I need to do this with someone, and then also kind of the space that I was moving into in that time I was spending with my friends in Mexico. Like, I am someone that does a lot of stuff by myself. I spend most of my time by myself because I'm a very high intensity person. Most people cannot put up with me and my bird noises 24/7. So, but I really just come to realize like friendship is so important, and friendship with like creative people and with other queer people and with other strangelings. Not that Thomas is a strangeling, you're lovely. But and it's sort of I've opened myself for the first time to doing something collaborative and to embracing just that, to trying it, uh and I could not have like chosen a better person to work with. Thomas is a fucking gem, man. Like,
Yeah, it was
So,
I
like
bet you,
a
Thomas.
magical. I will take it when you come to Phoenix.
Thomas,
Yeah,
what's your
I'm
what's your
gonna be there
big
next
three?
week.
My big three
I will
are
come with you.
oh, excellent. Yeah, next week you said.
Yeah.
Um, Taurus Sun, Virgo Moon, Leo Rising. So
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, he's got that
Okay.
really grounded energy, but at
Yeah.
the same time is super creative, like it's
Yeah.
just, and our collaboration was it just was so seamless. Like, I'm sure you must
yeah.
have gotten annoyed at me at times, but you never showed it.
No, I mean, so that's what I was saying right before you came on when we were talking about the hand fasting and the marriage. Is like I felt like we were so in sync. Like we both knew what role we were doing and had such trust that the other
Mm.
person was just going to do an amazing job. That even though I think both of us were prepared to say like that's not working for me, right? And I think there was one card that I gave you feedback on to
Yeah.
say like this is leaning too much in that direction. But
Hmm.
like for the most part, I was just
Cute,
like,
because there's
wow,
that
this
one
is
that looks
amazing.
like Jesus.
Yeah. Well, oh, well, yeah, there is that
Oh,
one too. I forgot about
who
him.
look like Jesus?
Oh, it's
Prison?
just, I mean, for some reason, because we did four principles because we really wanted people we wanted to represent kind of the gamut of, just a different spectrum, because I don't know, representation is so important in divination
Mm-hmm.
for the client, but also for you if you're reading for yourself. So we're trying to do this range. For some reason, I was trying to do one that was kind of a manly man, but it just kept looking like Jesus every time I drew.
Yep.
Listen, maybe there's some of that subconscious, like it just comes through no matter what you do. What can I tell you?
I
Yeah.
mean, I grew up in a cult, so it makes sense, man. I don't know. That may also be why I have quicksand on my boots. I'm not sure.
Oh my goodness. I was
But yeah, we
actually,
really had such a lovely collaboration. But I think it's also because Thomas and I are both 100% artists. Like, that is what we are, and we're so dedicated to art that we are able to put aside our egos.
yeah,
For me, like, the creative process, it's I don't get butthurt about like getting feedback, because for me it's always
yeah,
about I want to make the most beautiful thing possible, always. And Thomas and I think we share that
Yeah.
entirely. Like, there's
I love that.
I wrote.
But it really does come through in the deck. I pulled out a couple of other cards because I feel bad that I picked marriage and then I'm like, but I also like all of these other cards. So of course, my cap rising is going to say good fortune.
There you go.
Nice.
I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, if I could be good fortune every single
Yeah.
day, she's a badass bitch with all that money. Her hair
Heck.
is on point, and I like the perspective of her like raining it down on
Mhm.
somebody. So, like, this would be like the pose I would choose every day if I
Do you
could.
want to do a deck? I feel like we need a Capricorn. Like
Sure,
Sagittarius,
let's
Taurus,
go.
and Capricorn.
Let's go for it.
We could
So
get a business manager up
now,
in
I
here.
I mean, I do have that. I'm a Libra sun and a Cap moon. So like I
Hmm.
have like the drive of the Capricorn, but I have like that air fire creativity thing that comes out. But
Yeah.
I can paint a watercolor feather. That's about the extent of it. Um, and then I
I'll do
feel
the
like
art. Thomas can do the writing.
Yeah.
You
you
can do the business side of it. It's great.
beautiful. You got it. And then I feel like great fortune and the playful one,
Hmm.
like good fortune is funding the playful one.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they
The
look like
playful
they
one
go
is
to the
so
same
fun.
hairdresser.
Sugar
Yeah,
mama.
so like Playful One and Great Fortune go to the same hairdresser.
Yes.
Their hair is sick. So I like
Yeah.
Playful One is
Yes, I
having a
love it.
good vibe.
Yeah.
And then you want to know, like, this is a little bit wild, and you're like, why do you like this card? It's got to be, again, I don't know. It could be my kink. It's fine. But I like the
Yeah.
prison card.
The prison card is so funny, isn't it?
Oh my God. Look,
Right?
first of all,
It's like
when you
it's
said
the
that you
gayest
painted,
card in the deck by far. Look at him. He's so just like, oh.
I don't know. I love that face. Now,
Hey,
like, I felt like
we just
he
get
looked a
invited to a
little
rave.
Jesus-y. No, I feel like he looks a little Jesus-y to me in the
Oh,
face, like a
he
little bit
is,
like
yeah. He's like
Jesus
Yeah,
gay
and the
he's
net.
Jesus.
suffering. He's
Yeah,
like the
Jesus and the
Pietà.
net.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, a little bit like, oh, like,
yeah.
anyway.
Oh, totally.
And
He's
like,
so dramatic. Yeah.
I love, I just, I can't. I was like, oh my God, I've been there, girl. Like, I have these days.
Yeah. Where you're just like, oh.
So like but I think like when I started, like I said, like we got the box, I'm like, Seaborn Kipper, what the fuck does that even mean? I get the deck, I'm like, I don't even know what this is. So I'm like, God and Google
Yeah.
knows everything.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh cool.
Yeah.
Like this is really love. Get him on a fainting couch, Alex
Yeah,
said.
exactly. Yeah, he needs a fade. So drama.
um but I love the fact of taking anything historical and
Uh-huh.
like bringing it forward
Totally.
into modern
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is, and I feel like all the old bitches of Bavaria are like going,
Yes.
they haven't
Yeah.
forgotten about us. I can't do a Bavarian accent. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
can't. I would try. It would just not come
No,
out
you're
right.
totally right. It's like, yeah, because that whole parlor culture, like, it needs to be subverted. It's fun,
Yeah.
It's pretty gay anyway.
Like,
Like, I mean,
like doing this and like smoking cigarettes and drinking cocktails.
yeah,
What?
exactly. And then gossiping about eligible bachelors. Come on.
I think we should start
Always.
making like parlor clubs where
Yeah.
we start bringing the Kipper out, and it would be like
Yeah.
a Kipper tour in an immersive experience with a burlesque
I was
show.
gonna
See, you're
say a
genius. You really should be on
speakeasy,
the
but
team.
yeah, burlesque is good. Burlesque is good.
He's so
There
fun.
needs a water
Toilet.
Toilets.
element.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mermaid burlesque, like
Yeah.
with the
Yes.
big tank, Coney
Yeah.
Island style.
Yep.
Totally.
I could see it now. So I
I'm just
also
watching
have
out for flash flooding. I don't want to. It's
no,
starting to rain again.
I have many of your other decks. I brought them home
Oh,
with me.
great. That's so cool. Thank
So,
you.
so we do carry all of your other decks in our shop. I think it's most of
Oh,
them.
that's so cool. Yeah.
So we had a reader, and so the person that introduced us to you, her name is Fairly. She's a tarot reader. She moved to
Nice.
Pennsylvania. We have not forgiven her, but she was our tarot reader, and she always read with Lion Strider.
Such
And
a good deck.
I was like, this is an amazing
That's so
deck.
cool.
Like, how gorgeous is it? And then we saw it, we're like,
Aw,
what is that? And we immediately, and now, like, anytime you come up with something new, we're like, give us those, give us those.
awesome.
So excited.
Well, maybe we can come to our parlor Kippers thing there, but you have to dress up. We all have to dress up for it.
We have no problem dressing up. You can come to the
Costumes
parlor kit.
mandatory. We're gonna be
Yes, and
bougie Vienna bitches.
we can do it. Our building was actually built at the time Kipper began being a thing. So our building is from the late 1800s. It's one of the original buildings of our village. So it would fit in
Oh my
perfectly.
god.
Although
Nice.
So
the
much fun.
original
Yes,
owners
let's do
were
it.
Russian
I'm
and
in.
not German, but that's fine. They had parlor culture there, so it's fine.
Yeah,
There we go.
we'll make it
Will we
German.
have
We just have to start working on our accent.
martails with the
Oh heck yes.
salon
Yes.
attire?
Yes.
Danielle's saying we could do it at the Masonic Lodge. You guys should come because we are really trying to do a dumb dinner around Samhain, where you do like that silent
Oh,
Yes.
backwards dinner.
So in October, dude, that would be so. I mean, I will do it. Don't put these things in my head because I'll just fucking drive there now. Like I'm in.
Listen, we're about
I'll
that,
start
and
making
like
napkin rings. I mean, get ready.
it'll be so much fun.
It would
I
be so much fun. Okay,
yeah,
let's talk offline about that because I would totally do it because I have to come out there anyway for this project I'm doing. So.
perfect. Well, you have a place to land. We'll definitely hook
Heck
up.
yeah.
No,
We
no
got invited
worries.
to a rave earlier on here,
I
so.
know. So what's a parlor?
What parlor rave put together. I
Yeah,
didn't even know
We
that
could
like
just go like from our parlor thing in the same costumes to the rave. We just like rip the top layer off and then
yeah.
back to
fun.
pasties. Seashell
Totally
pasties all day.
that works. I love it. So what would so this is the problem. I as I was explaining to Thomas, I'm a really bad when anybody's like, say like at the shop, we're trying to interview a new reader, and so we usually demo them, and they're like,
Okay.
okay, what do you want a reading on? I'm like,
Oh.
I'm one of those. I'm like, I don't know. Because I'm a
Okay.
Cap Rising. It doesn't fucking matter what you tell me. I'm doing what I want. So, I already have it in my head. So what I wanted to do with the little bit of time that we have left, if you
Yeah.
if you both are okay with this, is I wanted to maybe take people through your 5 card cross reading,
Yeah.
and maybe come up with some type of query. I like maybe we could do it on Ciolo's current side of the road quicksand situation.
Sure. Yeah. I'm actually gonna go get in the Jeep here, so I'm just riding across the road. You guys,
Okay, look both
Yeah.
ways.
it's starting to rain again. It's
Oh
gonna
my
get real
goodness.
soggy here in a second. But
Oh
I'm with
no.
you.
Well, I hope
No, it's
you're
okay.
on like solid ground with your car, because that's how I got into trouble, being
Yeah,
on
I
the
mean, but
side of the road.
I do have a big Jeep situation, and I can tow it out. But no, it's fine. It's just I'm, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good.
Like yeah, my motherly instinct was like, oh no.
I'm just
So
trying not to attract any handsome men. It's very hard.
Yeah.
so what do you think about doing something like
Yeah,
that? Like
I
like
love it.
sure.
Yeah.
okay, because I want to take people through like the idea, and I don't want to do it because I'm gonna suck at it,
Oh
obviously.
yeah,
Because
Thomas is
I'm
super good at it.
so I would hope so. Like I'm trying to softball it to you,
Yeah.
Tom, so you'd be like,
No.
of course.
Oh no, no, of course. Um, yeah, I will say there are plenty of decks that are created by the guidebooks are written by people who do not read. Ciolo and I both read.
Okay.
Like we
Okay,
both
that's true.
we both know our system. So
Yeah.
yeah, happy to do it. One of the great things, if you don't know sort of what your reading should be about, if you're using a 5 card cross,
Hmm.
is that the first card will represent your topic. It's the central card. So you
Okay.
can choose that yourself, or you can let the fates decide what that will be.
Okay.
So I don't know if you would like to do that for us and give us that first card that would be in the center of the cross.
Let's
Nice.
do.
Okay.
So the card in a sense, but it doesn't have to be the principal, right? It could be any card.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. I actually wanted to pick house.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to pick
Great.
Cool.
house.
So you want to show people what house looks like?
Like,
If we are thinking about house as the central card, right, that is the exterior, that is sort of stability, it's our sense of family as well as like literally your house, but it's like the way other people are seeing it. So there's a lot of social pressures that can come with house, and that's sort of what's like triggering for me right now. It's like, okay, how is my exterior showing up, and
Yeah.
what does that say about my own sort of inner stability? But we'll see what the other cards you draw for the behind and in front.
Okay.
Would you like to read left to right or right to left? Because the house has no direction,
Right.
so you get to pick.
So let's read left to right.
Okay.
And
So if we were putting
then,
this
just to
down,
clarify, are you reading for me, Thomas, or
oh, do you want to read it
is anyone
for
giving a
you?
query? No, no, no. Like we did that last time, but I just wasn't. I'm sorry, I was
Yeah,
running across the road when you guys.
we didn't
I was trying to get out
specify,
of the
so
quicksand and run across the. I just lost the plot for a second.
I was letting it be ambiguous in case one of
Okay.
you two or someone watching
Right.
was saying like, "Ooh, that's me."
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just gonna do generally.
Right.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, so if you were putting it down, right, if you're reading left to right, you would put the second card to the left and the
Okay.
third to the right. And the reason why this is
Gotcha.
important is the card that's behind you, so the second card, is less favorable in a traditional Kipper reading. Like, it's the stuff that you can't proactively look towards. It is not sort of, it's not in your line of sight, so it's affecting you from behind, as opposed to the stuff that's ahead of you that's in a good position because you get to act on it. So that sort of directionality is really important.
Okay.
That's for those watching.
I love it.
That's
Okay.
why we're doing that.
Okay. So do you want me to pick, like, show you what the card is that's behind? All right. So the card, oh Lord. So
Okay. Funeral's a rough one. Yeah. There's no like positive spin on funeral, but it is, right? It's temporary.
Yes.
I'm curious what's on the other side of us.
So on the other
just to put it in
side,
context.
interesting. On the other side is caring one.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
What's nice about that is she's sort of looking out of the square, right? Because she's going to be on your right side. So she's going to help carry us out of this sort of period of grief. So I'm guessing, again, I don't know if this is for either of you or someone here, or it's just generic, right? A sample reading. Right, but there's like, you're holding it together, right? That stability of the house is really key, and that exterior aspect of it that I was sort of intuitively getting feels like this is the face that I am putting on. Like, it is a mess inside, right? And we'll see what's below us, because that may give us some hints as far as what's happening. But that funeral off behind us, it's like, that is rough that we are going through.
Yeah.
But we do have assistance from a more maternal figure or caring, nurturing sort of person who is going to help take us out of it, help us take, like, probably they're going to like dig deep a little bit. And that's part of the pain that we're going through with funeral, is someone's going to see straight through that bullshit. And they are going to say like, let me help you, baby. Like, we're doing this together. But now we have to see the other two cards. What's
Okay,
below
so
and what's
the
above?
below, right? The below one first? Okay.
Yep.
So below has short illness.
Okay.
Ooh, interesting. It's
Yeah.
another dramatic one.
So,
He needs a fainting
well,
couch too.
well,
Yes.
and the fun thing about this card, right? So, like, we make a joke about this in the guidebook, but short illness can represent, of course, illness, like a pause, sort of like hanged man energy, being
Sorry,
sick,
I'm still here. It's
or
just the sun's going down.
oh, I can't wait for you to see the stars out there,
All right,
Siolo.
guys.
Hopefully the clouds clear for you. Right, but this, right, like whether it's literal sickness, it can also represent sex. And I joke that it's like, well, if you're like hot and sweaty in bed, is it because you have a fever? Or you're doing something more enjoyable, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Danielle is saying this is for her. Okay. Right,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
there's
nice.
been this, I'm sorry, but there is a way out. Right, you've been going, like, what's underneath you, and that feels actually somewhat in control, is the taking of time for yourself to say, like, time out, like, I recognize this, and it's actually, like, I could try to fight through, but I'm just going to end up worse off. And I feel like that caring one, right, is the person who's taking care of you in that moment of illness. And so, right, like really lean on them, and if they haven't found you, you can find
Danielle,
that.
do you
Oh,
see
and
that?
she's
I'm
we have a caring one.
sorry, man. I've not been eaten by the quicksand. I'm trying to stay with you guys here.
Yes. There you go. Yeah, Danielle,
Nice.
the minute I pulled out, like the minute funeral came out, I was like, let's see if she says it's for her. Literally, she's had funerals. Like
Oh
literally
Oh,
same
shit!
literal
Oh
thing. Like
funerals.
man!
Okay, yeah.
both of her parents. I'm
Oh
sorry
Oh
I'm like
no!
no.
outing you,
I'm sorry,
Danielle.
Danielle.
A husband, like lots of, not the
Yeah.
husband didn't die. Unfortunately, it would have been better, but they got a divorce.
Okay.
Did I just say
So
that
that
out
has
loud? I
ended.
hope that made you
That's
laugh.
the funeral. That is
Oh,
a funeral of sorts for sure.
Yeah, of course. So like lots of that, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
this makes a lot of sense. So let's see what's the above
Yeah.
card.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the above is going to be influencing you the most. So really like the short illness and the caring one are the things to look out for. Like let yourself have the sweaty orgasm. Let yourself lean on the people who will help you
Mm-hmm.
through the sort of like stuck time. But oh hey Casey. Then like what is above is sort of either top of mind or it's going to be the stuff that's sort
Oh,
of
nice.
gift is perfect. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
gift
Yeah, that's
gift
good. That
like
works.
delivers to what's below it. And so like yeah, these people with whom you work are just they are a treasure.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
they
we're
need to,
treasures,
you
Danielle.
have
We're treasures.
Ah.
the thing with gifts is you have to accept them, right? You have
Yeah.
to open
Mm-hmm.
them.
Well, I think sometimes too, like, Danielle and I, my business partner, she's been going through all this. We have the same exact birthday,
Oh
day,
wow.
Oh
year,
no way.
and
Hey.
month. Like we're both same birthday, but she's a Sag rising and I'm a Cap rising. And I think like because of generationally, we're 1975 babies, we're Gen X. Like receiving help from people is like not something that Generation X is exactly known for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or it's like I got it. And of course it's also a trauma response, but like that's like part of like how we were raised as a culture, latchkey kids, like we're independent, we don't fucking need anybody, right?
Yeah.
So it's counterintuitive for us, and of course knowing Danielle like a sister, we went to college together and we lived together, that it's hard to sometimes accept help because it feels like it's not that others are judging you, but you're judging yourself for
Mm-hmm.
not like for needing help. And I'm like, we all need help. We all this in our lives, like this happens to all of us all the time, but it's so hard. Like like even like the amount of people that I've seen come through the shop where like they're like, well, I don't like to accept gifts, I only like to give gifts. I'm like, well, that's fucking one-sided,
Yeah.
because you're coming in here and you're like, I want to manifest, I want to manifest, I want to
Yeah.
manifest, what can I use, I want to manifest. And then you fucking manifest something and somebody tries to give you something, you're like, nah, don't want it,
Yeah.
not accepting gifts,
Yeah.
It's like
right?
you with
Like
those
we,
Yeah.
hunts by the road.
yeah. So,
Hi. Don't smile at them, Ciolo. Jesus.
does anybody does anybody watching have any questions for Tom or Ciolo? While we're on, we have a couple more minutes for a live where we're the three of us having the most fun, and I think
Yeah.
Ciolo should wear a GoPro or just have like a camera follow her around in her adventures, because I would literally watch that TV channel because
He's
you're like
posting the stories.
a party in and of
I
yourself.
know. I'm totally out of control, man. At all times. It's kind of
I love it. You would be like the type of friends that like they're like, "Hi, mom, I'm in jail. Were you hanging out with Ciolo again?"
again. But the thing is, like, I'll bail you out.
No, totally. Like we were
Then
all
we'll go to
having
the
the
strip
most
club
fun.
afterwards. It'll be
Yeah.
great, man.
Everybody's begging you both to come down to or over whatever it is to New York. Monica says asking for help is hard, but knowing that there are people that love, care, and support you are at your lowest is so important. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
That is
It's
so hard, though. Like for me, it's so much easier to give help than to
yeah,
receive it. Yeah,
yeah. I
definitely.
think I think that's like also such an imprinting of like Puritan American culture, like
Totally.
Yeah.
American work ethic, bootstrapping. Like, I don't need to fucking help for
Right.
anybody. Like,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's inherent in everything that we've been taught. Like I think about that, like
Yeah.
that imprinting. Bella said terrible at receiving. Yeah, I like presents. So my Leo moon will accept, as Bella knows, the shit out of presents. No problem.
Yeah. I love giving presents, but only like that when I have to. Like I give people presents on random days. They're like, "Happy birthday!" They're like, "My birthday's in December. It's July." I'm like, yeah.
It's okay. I was
Half
thinking
birthday.
about you. So now it's your half birthday. It's your
Your
unbirthday.
Don't try to
unbirthday.
control me, man.
Um, so Danielle and I are going to be at the Hay House I Can Do It convention in Phoenix
Oh, okay.
in May. So if
Nice.
no, not May,
In March.
March,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in
Yeah.
March,
Sadly,
March.
I'm in Colorado that weekend. Unfortunately, I'm so sad because so many people I know are coming into town. But
We're gonna
Which
be
weekend
there.
is it?
the
Um,
21st through 23rd.
yeah, something. Yeah, yeah. So we'll be in Phoenix for that. Of course, my very last minute ass self has not made any flights or housing arrangements. So I guess that's what I will be doing tomorrow.
Yes, time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You have time up to the
yeah.
20th.
It's fine. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. Colorado. The joke around the entire shop is not my favorite place. Me and Colorado are in a fight. That's
Oh no.
okay.
Oh,
What?
I live because I live at negative sea level at all times, and my
okay.
body just
Oh,
does not adjust. When we go to the
yeah.
Denver Gem and Mineral Show, I am like a cranky sick bitch. Like it just doesn't work for me.
It's a
Gotcha.
real
Colorado
Yeah.
thing.
is not my
It
friend.
is a
I
real
live
Yeah.
at
thing.
five.
Yeah.
I live
Yep.
at five, like literally 5 feet above sea level is where I live.
Really?
Yes. hmm
Nice.
Like I live like
I'm actually a few miles from the lowest point in the country, which is 282 feet below sea level
I
in
love
Death
it.
Valley.
You're close to
You're
Hades,
going
and that
underwater, Cielo.
where
Essentially.
where are the bodies of all the merfolk? Where are they at? Because you got to find them. They're going to be in there somewhere.
Yeah, merfolk live forever.
They do.
They just fly off to gay heaven.
Yeah.
You just have to resurrect them. They're like, you just have to like
Yeah,
add water
totally.
to them and
Yeah.
like a little bit of like glitter, and they'll come out of the
I've got a
ground.
spell for that. Probably involves
So,
poppers or something. I don't know.
so
Sprinkle some
good.
cocaine on it, it'll be fine.
They got this. They're perfect. That's all you need. Is a little glitter, some Coke, and everything will work.
They'll wake up and they'll be like, "Oh God, not her again."
And then they'll be looking
She's
like
back.
the gay Jesus in the prison.
They're like, "Oh my God, we can't go to prison again." The net? No, not the net.
I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for spending time with me tonight,
Yeah.
and everybody. We're gonna post this on the replay. We usually get like a ton of views
Great.
on the replay. I'll tag you
Cool.
guys
Okay.
as collaborators.
Awesome.
And you guys, we have Seaborn Kipper on the shelves of our shop as well as on our website, which is shop.amityvilleapothecary.com. We have all of, or most of, I don't know if it's all, but most of Siolo's decks available
That's
also
so
on our
cool.
shelves.
Thank
They
you.
weigh these boxes. We love shipping them. They only weigh 3,000 pounds. When this came, I was like, yes, doesn't weigh. We
I
don't have to
know,
find a
right?
gigantic box.
It's so
It's
much
Um,
less than a
easier.
pound.
Yeah, gosh. I'm not responsible for that.
I'm like, are they like, but I have to tell you, like, last point,
So
guidebooks are
here.
so important. And guidebooks often are like very, like, they like sort of sometimes a deck manufacturer or a publisher will like skip out on the
Yeah.
guidebook and it won't be in color or it
Mhm.
won't be like robust enough or just like very basic
Yeah.
meanings. Like, even though this is compact, it is mighty and the guidebook is spot on and it's color and there's layouts and there's like just so much information, both historical, there's information about directionality, it's just, don't be fooled by the size.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
It's
That's all Thomas. Like he did that
really,
all.
really
Which is
great.
great.
And
Yeah.
so and in terms of like Solo your decks, like this actually could just be sold by itself.
It's
You
so
don't like
good.
that's the fact that you're getting a whole deck of cards and like basically an entire book is
Yeah.
This is
3-pound
not a
book.
guidebook. This is a novella. It's beautiful. So come, you guys. The invitation is open.
Okay.
Anytime you want to come to New York, we are an hour outside of New York City,
Okay.
so you can still have all the
Let
fun.
us know about, sewing.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're gonna
I'd be
circle
totally
back.
into
Yeah.
it. I got to
We're
get out there
doing
anyway,
it.
so
Yeah,
I
we're
would
gonna do
100%
it in the Masonic Lodge. And the last time we were at the Masonic Lodge, they let us go into like the sanctum, whatever. I don't know what they call it. They did, and then we did like EVP boxes. I wasn't there though because I had shit to do, so
Fun.
but they were doing like EVPs, like ghost shit. So like they're pretty cool. So let's do
Into it.
Could you ghost
fun
shit? I
shit.
love ghost shit.
Ghost shit, yeah.
It says I have the
So
Legos
Cielo,
off.
that could be our next deck, is ghost shit.
ghost shit, yes.
Gay ghosts.
Totally. I think we got to do
Listen.
a desert thing next, man.
Yeah.
But I'll be in Phoenix in a few days, so
Yeah.
I'll hit you up and
Awesome.
talk to you.
Awesome. Guys, thank you
All
so
right,
much.
bye.
Cielo,
Bye,
stay
guys.
safe.
Bye.
Enjoy finding all your good-looking people on the side of the road.
Enjoy the trip.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.
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 Bye.